Hi, this is Dave from Dave's Outdoorsy Stuff. Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about keeping a knife sharp, razor sharp, not just ready to hack at a piece of wood. I mean razor sharp here. They're going to really cut you if they go wrong, but the sharper a knife is, the less likely you are to cut yourself because you just don't need to force it. It's just a necessity, really. If you have your knives, you've got to have it done. All we're going to need to go through it and for me to show you how I keep my knives nice and sharp is obviously a knife. This is a Halterver's, just a basic cheap thing, but it is amazing. Recommend them to anybody. They keep the blade, the edge sharp really well. They're nice and sturdy, great little knife. I was using this earlier to carve a little spoon, so we're going to re-edge that, make sure that's nice and sharp again. You're going to need a sharpening stone. It's either a whetstone, you can get just a grit stone, diamond stone, whatever, but this is the one I use. I've had it for years and years and years and years. They just last. It's a 2 grit one. You can see the line going through, so on the top there we've got a bit of a rough grit, and on that side a nice fine grit as well, and you just work towards that fine. We'll go through that in a bit. And then the most important thing in any knife owner's arsenal is definitely a strop. Just 2 bits of leather on a piece of wood. You can make it yourself out of an old belt. I cheated, I bought this one. Comes with a little compound as well, a little bit of wax. You warm it up, rub it on just like you would a crayon, and then you get that nice form there, and it's just forms an extra bit of grit. And again, just like the stone, you got the rough, then you got the smooth, and that's how you're going to get that mirror shine, that super sharp edge. And of course, the last thing, just to go with the stone as well, a little bit of oil. Doesn't really matter what type of oil you use. It could be kitchen oil, it could be industrial oil. Me, I use this wet and dry bike oil. It smells like bubblegum. It's nice. So let's have a bit of a closer look and get going on sharpening the knives. Okay, so first things first, we're going to use the block that we said about a minute ago. So we've got the rough side on there first. We've got the knife ready, and then we've got the oil. Now, some blocks you can use dry. Some people prefer to use it dry. Me, just depends on how quick I want to be. If I want to do it properly, a bit of oil, put it on there, rub it on. As I said, it's a really nice one, this muck off stuff, because it does smell like bubble gum and you don't end up with it. It's not too bad, it's quite a nice one. So all you want to do, the technique is just to lay the blade flat on the block, and then you can just feel it with your thumb or your finger. Is it flat against it? Make sure you've got that tilting going on there so that you're following the beveled edge of the knife, because if you're doing it that way, you're not going to sharpen anything. Tilt it in, and then you just want to pull it away from you. And notice as I'm doing it, I'm moving it along the whole length of the knife as well there. Now, if you find it a little bit iffy, I know some people starting off, I certainly did, you struggle, you wobble a little bit as you go. Trick I learned to do that with is, especially if you're pulling away from you, don't ever do it if you're pushing it to you. Some people say you can do it. I never do that, but just hold your fingers just ever so slightly over the edge of the knife, and then pull it along. If your fingers are touching, you know that knife blade is going to touch then as well. Once you get the hang of it though, you can do it. Now you make sure you count how many you're going to do, because you want to do the same on one side as you do on the other. So we're just going to pull it back on the other side, and now again just the same, pulling away from the edge, whoops, of the blade, from the edge away of the blade there. Now I'm not going to do too much of this, because the only real reason you need to use one of these blocks is if you've got a bit of a nick in the blade. Now I don't know if I can get it to focus in on that one, but my blade is fairly clean. I'm very lucky with it. I tend to keep it quite clean as I go. Now we're going to go to the other side. So we'd only really use this just to get any nicks or anything off of there if we'd hit a knot in the wood, or you went if you were doing bushcraft, you went a little bit too far and actually caught a stone or something like that, nick the blade a little bit. It's a bit of a pain to do, but then you can really buff it out nice and easily with these stones. Or if your knife is really blunt, it's probably worth going over one of these stones to start with. We'll do the same on the other side. Bit of oil. And it is a very methodical process. You're doing exactly the same again. And you're not pushing too hard. That was a tip I learned not long ago, is that the harder you push on it, the more you're going to grind right along the knife edge. You just want to be pulling it. Let the tools do the work, as I say. Let the tools do the work for you. The more you push against it, the more you're going to get an uneven blade edge. That's basically how I'm going to use the knife. Now, to be honest, the strop is exactly the same. Now, I'm going to get a cloth, just wipe some of that oil off, because I don't want to get that all over my strop there. Okay, stropping now is exactly the same. Now, it's up to you. I tend to hold it. If you're still not sure about holding the knife edge, then I'd recommend just clamping it to the table a little bit there. Wobbly camera. Clamp it to the table and then do it by it with two hands. Personally, I just hold it like that, and I can feel it with both hands. And you're doing exactly the same again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I tend to find just doing the counting down really helps. 3, 4, 5. Too busy talking, not really paying attention to it. I tend to find 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. That's a good way to go. Gives you an idea. By the time you get to the edge of that, you've usually got a really sharp knife. So I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. And then you're okay there. Double check as well if you've just put your compound on straight. Occasionally you'll get some crumbly bits coming off. I've been using this for a while now. It's probably worth me redoing it, actually taking this lot off and doing some fresh stuff, but really this will work fine for me at the moment. But with the fresh compound, occasionally you'll get chips, bits of the compound coming off on your knife. You might want to just give it a bit of a wipe just to clean it off just before you go on to the next side. Now, all of this, the dark on the leather here, is just tiny minuscule pieces of dirt and metal that's slowly been worn away from my knives just to make sure that it's extra sharp. When you get it, it will be more that sort of colour at the top there, that lovely sort of leathery colour, what you'd expect it to be, but over time, and that's fine. You don't really lose the edge on it. Doesn't make any difference to me, but I still carry on, you know, just so you know, it's not dirty. You can still use it. And then you're doing the same on this side as well. Again, not giving too much pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm going to carry this on again after the video. I don't want to expect you to sit there through that all the whole time. But the way to check that your knife is ready and razor sharp, obviously, you could use the paper trick where you slice paper. You might have seen that. Personally, I like to run my thumb across the blade, not along the blade, across the blade. And the rougher that is, the sharper it is. And another quick check to do is using the light, look right down the edge of the blade. If you can see the line where the edge of the blade meets, it's probably not sharp enough. You want that line, the focal point of the blade, to be nigh on invisible so that you can only really see both sides. That means you've got a super sharp knife there going. And obviously the big test, will it cut wood? Nice and easily done. Just get an old offcut here, and that just comes off just like butter there. Just like butter. Nice beautiful curls coming off of that. And that's all I expect. Any comments would be fantastic. It's my first YouTube video, so hopefully there'll be many more. Use the like button, the share button, the follow button, everything that's there. That would be fantastic, and I'll hopefully get some more videos up and ready. Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.